44 shit, you know what I mean? Is it man? Look, that shit drop, you step all the way on they neck, step on they neck and they hit that shit.
I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them both. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it up. The go high pace, but he don't I show them skill. He ride, but he don't work the wheel. I work they made up some solid circle gate, vacuum seal. No, they want my life. I ain't worried. I got rape for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga. Watch yourself. They say you been in beef for lately. You is not self. When you dropping the fire, press smash, they inquiring. It's not what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, the firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin. No kindness, I don't trust you. Circle small. You get your feet. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers. Say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we run it. Bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do us part. If you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart, fine in. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the mud, straight to God. They don't know how I feel. He nice, but he don't show them skills. How I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel. How I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a man, circle tight, yeah, back and seal. I heard they want my life. I ain't worried. I got rape for real. Take over in effect. Yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it on me, just know it's women. That bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need major motion. Think I'm joking. I'ma school them niggas like they baby Jody. Got it out the dust. Now I'm too clean. Don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dog? Guns and butter, baby boy. You PK top, dog. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that Ecoline into a damn tank. I got chopper stash in the attic like they Anne Frank. They had that shit on lock till I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides. Gotta choose your colors. See him throwing that one up with that W. That's my blood, bro. Fine in. I ain't show no mercy. I'm gonna show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died. I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the dust. Straight to glory. They don't know how I feel. He nice, but he don't show the skills. How I show the skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel. How I work the wheel. Ooh, I got a man. Circle tight, yeah. Back and seal. Said they want my life. I ain't worried. I got rape for real.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claim me he your round, the bitch hell. Nigga you put on to hit the tail. How the fuck you turn your back, nigga that love treat you kids like a box and kill. Pregnant, see his child. My baby, they a lot. I'm on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and I got on they side. Got the ISUPK casting. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I did. The man reach out to God before he died? Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for left. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah, I was thugging with Lucky, and that nigga left me for dead. Endure to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. She don't really speak, cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man, and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. They play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
Yeah, I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a West nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sister, then I got a problem. I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the I got it hanging up. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm strapped in a pistol. I get called to be glad that this Hebrew Academy nigga training, put through the baddest condition. I fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Vladimir. Niggas, she know I'm a prop, she glad to be listening. Respect, I ain't having this shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' a different breed of black man. We don't do the bad thing. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight like this. Forget about this. We and those straight can't fold us. Too heavy to work, won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we something you can take it to the bank. We focus on how many times must be remind you. Body one. Some. It's a flex, when the Lord with your next, it's just us that they don't nigga out the world. I responded and called back, oh Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching in their act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the command and general, your honor, we unaffiliated with them. They tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck on. Around with fake niggas, you can't ground with me in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in it with me. In the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian, we ain't the talking shit. But we living in it, we be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be press as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' script from jail, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't think it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I assemble the gun, put the slide on. Real, I get the harder, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet about me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them.
I'm under commanding general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they talk and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine, that's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them, yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. And it's like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. That's why we unaffiliated with them, yeah. Oh!
I got you.
Oh God, let's go. I got a real nigga, cause he wasn't no on the corner like a watch dog. Family secure, got the shot. Fuck, they heard it's all hard in this game. I'm job. You told it in the ambulance. Told him back in the valley, flip off while fan dog says it broke. Turn his child into a ghost town. Focus out, nigga. I lay that game down. I feel it cause nothing is the same. I like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child. No. Try to warn them niggas we been all like tarantulas. The moment I make anthems, I really see this banner. Made my enemies bow down on camera. Toes out in black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian. Precious cargo, spirit Asian, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's hard. If they won't, I cut through they see some sorrow. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride with Yara down, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember, I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fucking niggas on the fence.
Say it again.
Warrior with the hands. That's what I'm all of. They don't want no altercation. Situation gon' get critical. It's best that you be easy. The end gon' be. In the season, got plenty food for thought. Just gotta watch who I'm feeding. Now they walking with them angels, so I guess I got this pistol for no reason. Niggas barely breathing, criticizing all my achievements. Won't make me weak, nah, it won't make me slack. Go, these niggas baby fat, so I'm better bear with it. so back up shit like dumb dogs. I'm in the state. And if it ain't UPK, then they in wait. I niggas right rip down the stuff. Flow so deep, it drown a motherfucker. He say he in the truth. Oh yeah, bro, this the home. And I don't hate them brothers, I'm just too loyal to my own. Plus what they believe, hard for me to follow. No rank me, no head. And I ain't leaving this body, living spit high witness. I can never die with my tail tucked between my legs. Shit I be thinking, watching my daughters tucked in their bed. They so smart, and Alana, she's so beautiful, but they ain't like other babies, and they daddy far from usual. Now I'm missing cause I'm about my father's business. It ain't about this shit I used to do in that 98 Navy, the 10 leather seats. See, without wisdom, this world make you weak. I found everything. I guess me and Johanna had to meet. Now I make the blind see, and I make the dead speak, and teach both my little girls the day that they lie with a man, they better bring their bloody band sheets. Chaos match the time. This Glock match my handpiece, and I ain't trying to take him out, but I will defend this house or take a check. 144 in that black trench on some hitman shit. Should call me 47. Praying for Armageddon. Me and my soldiers dressed for the wedding. Fuck the fame. Ask why, tell them I'm loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. The devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. That's right. Bring that hot flame, you bitch. Ain't loyal to the king. Until the righteous reign. Loyal to the king. I want that straight lane to break the chain. Loyal to the king. The devils can't have me, bitch. I'm loyal to the king. Bring that hot flame, you bitch. Ain't loyal to the king.
Shalom, Israel. This is Officer Natazayab Amak with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. And since 1969, we've been bringing out the truth that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the 12 tribes of Israel. The true Jews, you understand? The so-called lost tribes. Again, I'm Officer Natazayab Amak. I'm here with none other than Officer 50, Anashwan.
Shalom, shalom.
Damn right, damn right. And tonight we're going to be holding down ISUPK Mexico Scripture Breakdown class. The topic of tonight's class is, we love to sin, so we are destroyed. You understand? And since 1969, we have found the truth again. You understand? And the reason why is because the Most High has chose to reveal that truth to us once more. For hundreds of years, and even before, throughout our history as Israelites, as Israel, as a nation of Israel, you know, we've strayed away from the Most High. We've chosen to turn from his protection, turn from his knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments. And again, because of that, we've been lost. So when they call us the lost tribes of Israel, there is truth to that. The curses in Deuteronomy 28 talk about us losing our identity. You understand? And not knowing who we are, us losing those prophets, our wise men, and our leaders that are meant to teach us, our culture throughout our generations and keep us on track, keep us in our rightful position, which, if you didn't know, was rulership in this earth. You understand? And since 1969, we've been found again. You know, for like I said, for the longest time, the Most High, he turned from us, but now the time now is he's revealing himself to us again. So how do we know that we're lost? How do we know that as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? How do we know that we've been lost? How can we identify as those lost tribes, right? I mean, in America, in 2026, if you got your driver's license, if you got a 9-to-5, you got a house or you're renting, you got somewhere to live, some clothes on your back and some food in your stomach. I mean, we believe we're free. We believe that life is just, sunshine and rainbows. Everything's blissful, and we're in the pursuit of happiness. That nothing is wrong. It couldn't be going better. And that's the consensus of our people as a whole, that we all believe that somehow, we're in good standings in the earth, when that can't be farther from the truth. The fact of the matter is if you look around, if you look at the conditions of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we don't have to wait until we die to go to hell. We're in hell right now. You understand? Our people are utterly destroyed. We're destroyed through drug addiction. We're destroyed through mass incarceration. Our women are having abortions on just astronomical levels. You understand? Probably more than ever has been. And sexual deviancy is just riddled throughout our community, unaliving our own people, right? Constantly killing our own brothers, unaliving our own brothers, right? Gangbanging with our own people. You know what I'm saying? We're exploited by every other nation on the goddamn planet. I mean, you think about it, the Asians with their Chinese food restaurants in our neighborhoods. Also with they own all the damn hair supply stores. They own all of the nail stores. All of our sisters are getting their nails done, eyelashes done, getting their hair done, and all of those things are nice. The sisters don't need it, first of all. They're beautiful without it, but it's, an accessory. Think of it as an accessory. And who owns the access to those materials? Well, it's these Asians. It's these other nations. You understand? So, and on top of that, you got the East Indians. They own all the goddamn gas stations in the neighborhoods. You got the Arabs that own all the corner stores and the liquor stores. So everything that we need as a people in 2026 that we use for comfort and necessities, we got to go to these other nations to get that stuff. So what does that mean? That means the money that's meant for our communities and that's meant for us to invest in our communities and build ourselves up, those dollars are immediately leaving out of our communities and going and funding the improvement and prosperity of these other nations. And it's been like that since long before I've been alive, since long before 1969, where the ISUPK was, came out. You understand? It's been happening since, for hundreds of years now. For hundreds of years. I mean, you look at it, the inception of America was based off of these other nations coming and colonizing this land. You understand? And through that colonization, they enslaved the Native Americans. They enslaved the so-called African Americans. You understand? And since that point on, we've been being used as a commodity. You understand? We're another aspect of their business model to prosper and to make themselves rich in this land. And that's what we've been suffering under to this day, to 2026. You understand? And on top of that, there's systematic oppression on every level, from the food that we eat, right? With all these genetically modified, GMO products, understand, the preservatives. And there's another, what's it called? The goddamn chemicals they use to kill the bugs and stuff like that. I forgot the exact term for it. You understand? But this stuff is pumped in our communities, and we're not getting the healthy stuff. We're not getting fresh foods. We're not getting grass-fed beef. We're not getting natural, organic, food items. You understand? Because that stuff is just too expensive. We don't have the financial means to be able to purchase any of those items. You understand? I don't know anyone that from my community that goes to Whole Foods. You understand? Because you're gonna purchase a damn head of lettuce for $8. You understand? So we don't have access to that stuff in our communities. We're getting the bottom of the barrel, man. We're getting the bottom of the barrel, and it's been like that throughout generations. Since, again, back into slavery times, a lot of our culinary palates, you understand, the things that we prefer to eat is because we had to make do with the scraps that were given to us. The reason why our communities are so fascinated with pork, for example, is because that's what was given to us when we were in captivity, when we were enslaved, to be more specific, because we are still in captivity. You understand? So, like I said, from the food that we eat to the brainwashing that's done in our educational systems, you understand? I mean, we're taught to love our oppressors. You know what I'm saying? We're just taught a bunch of nonsense, man, when it comes to the educational stuff. And we don't have any control over what's being pushed onto our children. We pretty much just send them to school. We don't know what they're being taught. In 2026, they're being taught, about the LGBT community and activism for that, and that's being pushed inside of the schools as well. They have pride celebrations inside the school to this day. I'm not sure if Anashwan, he's in high school right now. Can you attest to that? Can you attest to any type of LGBTQ curriculum that's being pushed?
I wouldn't say they directly teach it, but yeah, there definitely is like LGBTQ stuff in there. Like they'll literally have a day set aside for them to, basically have this, basically just a day for them, just a day. And a lot of the teachers, like, if you say joke about, someone being gay or something like that, they'll be like, why you got a problem with gays? You know what I'm saying? Just defending them like it's all right or something.
Right.
I want to say, like, right now, it's crazy to me because people are 16, 15, 17, and you're talking about you're gay or lesbian or transgender, or you're like, I really don't care what you went through or what caused you to do it.
Right.
Because that doesn't make sense to me how you would do something like that. And then now the next generation is looking at you like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's all right, I could do that too. And now they're messed up in the head because you want to do that and you want to choose to do that. And you're like a role model to them, like a superhero.
Right.
But really, it's just a deviancy. Really, it is. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Damn right. Damn right.
Like, as a man, you lust after another man. What is that? What is that? Honestly, I really want to know. And as a woman lusting after another woman, what? Because you think that the men now are just basically done away with? Look at society and what they do to our men, what they do to our people. We're absolutely destroyed. And I think I don't want to put like a victim type mentality, but I'm honestly starting to think it's them, because there's no way that we're honestly naturally like this. There's no way. It's not possible, because I'm not like that. I can't even imagine something like that.
Damn
it's
right.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Damn right.
And with that, I yield.
Damn right. Damn right. That's definitely heavy, man, because it is unnatural. It is unnatural. And not only that, more importantly, it's unlawful. It is a sin to be a part of the so-called alternative lifestyle, alternative community. And that's the politically correct term that they want to push on us now, that it's an alternative, which, underlying allows you to believe that there's an option to be this way. When back in, just in the 70s or 80s, being in the LGBT community, it was labeled as a mental illness. So even our oppressors know, even these other nations know that this is not something that's natural. Okay, you can't procreate with two men. You can't procreate with two women. You understand? And just the fact that they even put a day aside inside of our schools and they promote this type of spirit to our children is just completely diabolical. And that's why we as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to get back into our rightful place of rulership so we can do away with all of this nonsense, so we can put things back into the natural order of the way it should be in this world. You understand? And like I said, those are the methods that are used to keep us in captivity, to keep us away from the blessings and the protection of our God. Because as long as we are following those law, statutes, and commandments, we are going to be in the good graces of our God. We are going to have the protection of our God. We are not going to be allowed to be ruled over by these wicked nations. And they know that. Our oppressors know that. Every nation knows that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that we're the true Israelites of the Bible. So what that also means is if we're not following those law, statutes, and commandments, then God is not going to be with us. Our God is not going to be with us, and they will be able to exploit us and prosper off of our downfall. So that's what they're dealing with right now. And then on top of that, they use strategic methods to keep us economically isolated, right? So financial opportunities such as bank loans, home loans, even a car loan. You know how difficult it is to get a car note, as a Black, Hispanic, or Native American man, where they're not using predatory tactics to try to, really take advantage of you with high interest rates, and high, car notes, monthly payments, and stuff like that. So these people, not only do they make it difficult in the first place to even attain that level to access the opportunity, but even when you get the opportunity, they still use different methods against us to keep us down. When it comes to, for example, it's been brought out about how, when they would come and inspect our homes to determine the value of our homes, they would depreciate the amounts of our houses, by hundreds of thousands compared to our white counterparts. This is a study that's been done. These are stories that have been done in the news to show that these tactics are actively being used against so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? So what is that doing? It's preventing us from wealth building. It's preventing us because money is a defense. This is what the scriptures say. Money is a tool to be used as defense. Any nation requires finances to be able to build themselves up, to be able to fund the daily operation of that nation, of that land, to be able to provide for the different, modalities that are required to operate any society. So by intentionally sabotaging our opportunities and using these cunning ways and methods against us, it's obvious what's happening. They are targeting us and they are at war with us as a people. You got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say with that, you got to think, Blacks, Hispanics, and Natives, what nation are you really like a part of? Some Mexicans might say, oh yeah, I'm la raza, right? No, those you were conquered by the Spaniards.
Damn right.
You belong to the Spaniards now. Blacks, you belong to the white people. Natives, you belong to the white people. Even Mexicans, you belong to the white people. They took over, I don't know how much. First, it was 13 colonies. Then it went to 50 states.
Right.
Right now, I think it's 52, plus Alaska and Hawaii or whatever, right? First of all, we don't have a home. We don't have somewhere we could call a place right now, because our real home, Jerusalem, is being took over by false prophets. The Israelites over there, the white people, the Jewish people. You know, Ish is like saying I'm like something. They're not real Jews. You feel what I'm saying? They're fake. They don't even follow the scriptures right. They don't. They follow this false thing. You feel what I'm saying? They don't look like prophets. They don't carry themselves like prophets. Salakia, if I'm wrong or right, I forgot. There was this situation between a Jewish person and a white woman, and he started hitting on the white woman, and it was crazy. It was crazy to me, because as a man, you're hitting on a woman, when in the scriptures it says, a woman is a weaker vessel.
Damn right.
A weaker vessel. So
Damn
why
right.
would you might as well be hitting on a little kid or a puppy.
Right.
Seriously. That's how weak they are to you. So something like that, and you guys think that they're the prophets or they mean something, they're not. And you know, it's crazy because a lot of people believe in that stuff.
Damn right.
And you know, all you white people that think you can deceive and take control, just wait. Just wait.
Damn right. Damn right. Definitely heavy material that you're bringing out. And keep in mind, Israel, this young officer is 16 years old, correct? 16 years old?
Count out of one count.
16 years old, man, and he's been educated by true priests and prophets of the Most High in the ISUPK, and he knows real history. You understand? He knows factual evidence that actually, happened with our people. And what he was bringing out about, the different identities that we choose to take on is extremely heavy. The scriptures in Matthew 8:20, to paraphrase, talks about, Jesus saying, the foxes have holes and the birds have nests, but the Son of Man know not where to lay his head. You understand? So we are over here in captivity, and don't get me wrong, Mexican so-called indigenous people were here first, right? But this is not their natural place. This is not their natural home. You understand? As he stated, we come from Jerusalem. You understand? It's not those pale pink people over there that get sunburned from being out in the sun for 10 damn minutes. You understand? I mean, I could just imagine how much sunscreen they got to go through in a goddamn year as a people. You understand? They just can't be outside. They don't have any melanin inside of them. You understand? I digress. You understand? So it's definitely heavy what he's bringing out. And you need to understand that we are in captivity, that we have been conquered, by these European nations, whether it be Britain, Spain, Portuguese, throughout all of the Americas. They have conquered different parts of this land and subjugated our people. You understand? And now we are at the bottom of the totem pole. We are at the ones that are, the second and even third, fourth class citizens, even in our own land. You understand? And there's a reason why that's happening. And while it's extremely critical to identify our enemies and the crimes that they commit against us, we must first understand why we are vulnerable to the attacks in the first place, why we've been allowed to be attacked in the manner that we are being attacked with. The reason why we are allowed to be in captivity and enslaved and abused and unalived and all of the things that we've gone through as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. As I started in the beginning, all you got to do is look out of your front door and you'll see the condition of hell that we're in. You'll see the destruction that plagues our communities. You understand? You'll see the fact that we are massively incarcerated, where our communities are ridden with drug and crime, you understand, and poverty. And it's because that we have lost that protection from the Most High. It's because we have disobeyed the Most High, and he's turned from us and given us away back to our most vile and low lust of the flesh. You understand? It's because we, as the title says, love sin. We love to sin. So that's why we're destroyed in the first place. That's why we are allowed to be attacked on this manner. We are destroyed because we love to sin. That's really the gist of everything that we're going to be bringing out in this class tonight. You understand? It's because we love the demons that plague us. It's why they are able to plague us in that way. It's actually very simple to defeat a demon. All you have to do is understand that he's only doing the things that you actually want to do in the first place. He's only convincing you of the things that you actually love in the first place. So once you identify the fact that you have a lust for these things, that's when you can say, hey, you know what? I am not going to do those things anymore. I'm going to repent. And to repent means to actually change that behavior, to change your beliefs behind the actions that you've been portraying throughout all this time that our people commit in general throughout our communities for generations and generations. You understand? With that being said, let me get that first scripture and let me get Hosea 4:6, Baba Kushab. Let me get there with you. All right, if you got it, go ahead, bring it out.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
He says, my people. You understand? That's a possessive term, which means obviously some other people are not his people. Just to point that out, everybody is not the children of God. You understand? The Bible is called the Holy Bible, which means separate. You understand? The holy means separate in the Greek. You understand? So just so you understand that we're a special people, set apart from the rest, above every other nation. So he's saying my people are destroyed. Why are they destroyed? For a lack of knowledge. Well, what is the knowledge that we lack? The knowledge that we lack is the knowledge of the laws, statutes, and commandments. We suffer in captivity because we don't follow those laws, statutes, and commandments that's been given to us by our Father, the Most High God. You understand? So we stop following our culture. We stop following our customs. We stop following our moral compass. You understand? We start pursuing after, these other nations and the customs that they hold. And as a result, we are in captivity in 2026. Continue.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge. That's something that we choose to do. You understand? God gave us the ability to make these choices ourselves. You understand? Some people may call it free will, if you will, and because of that, because of those choices that we're making to reject, he says, because thou has rejected knowledge, because of the choices that we're making to choose ignorance, to choose unlawfulness, we reject sex as marriage. We reject that. We think it's fine to lay down with a sister and never talk to her again, never see her again, to do away with her. That's called being a whoremonger. That is a sin. It is a sin to create a whore of your sister. You understand? When you lie down with a woman, you are then married to that woman for life. For life. You understand? Until one of you die, or biblically stating, if that woman commits adultery on you. You understand? That's the only reason that you could lawfully divorce your wife, if she sleeps with another man, because then now she belongs to that other man. You understand? So you're supposed to do away with her, So it doesn't take a piece of paper. It doesn't take a ring to be married. Don't believe what the Christian church tells you. Don't believe what American society tells you, that this ring somehow constitutes your marriage. That couldn't be farther from the truth. That is a goddamn lie. You understand? The truth is that when you have sex with this woman, you two have became one, and she belongs to you. She is now your possession, and you must protect that possession. You must provide knowledge, wisdom, guidance for that possession. You must build that possession up. You are completely and solely responsible for the success or the failure for that relationship from that point on. So that's why it's extremely important to spend the time to get to know the person that you plan on laying down with. Because what happens when you have sex, Anashwan?
You're married. You're stuck with her for life, sir.
And what can happen when you're and throughout that marriage, you're constantly having sex with your partner? What could be a result of that sex?
Children, sir.
Children, exactly. So now we're talking about the progression of our people and the generations that are coming in the future. So the lessons that we uphold now are what is going to be taught to our future generations. So if we're out here teaching our children that it's okay to lay down with a woman or a brother and then never do deal with them again, well, guess what? Now we're teaching our children to be whores and whoremongers, and it's only going to further divide the genders, the male and female in our households, and it's going to continue to destroy us. It's going to continue to destroy us to give us that weak excuse to be able to not be responsible for the woman that you can potentially be having a child with and creating a family with. Continue if you could.
Kanarawankan. I will also reject thee.
He's going to reject us. Why is he going to reject us? Because we want to smoke weed, right? We want to smoke weed so goddamn bad that we're willing to forego any moral compass, any obedience to the God, to the God of our fathers. We're willing to forego all of the riches and royalty and position of rulership that we're in, that we're supposed to be in, for a goddamn plant. And the most diabolical part about that plan is that these goddamn junkies don't even believe that they're addicts. That's the worst part about it. That's what makes it even more destructive than crack or heroin or so-called hard drugs. Marijuana is more destructive because it creates an illusion in the user's mind that they're actually not a drug addict. They'll smoke weed around their children like if it's not a problem. You know, understand? They'll go to a job interview smelling like straight loud. You feel me? Like you will come into the house. It don't matter where you're at. You could be at a family function, at a party, whatever. You don't care that you smell like this goddamn drug that is completely disgusting, intoxicating, and you just think, it's a natural fragrance for you. You think it's just completely acceptable, and we're wrong for not wanting to smell that. We're wrong for not wanting to accept the fact that you're high out of your goddamn mind and I can't even hold an intellectual conversation with you. You understand? You know, so we want to do these drugs, you know, and we're rejecting the fact that this is a sin because we care more about our own pleasure than the condition of our people. We care more about our own pleasure and getting high than we do about being obedient to our God. You know why? Because you're selfish. That's why. Continue.
Kanarawankan. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me.
He's going to reject us from our royal priesthood. We are meant to be a living example on this earth. And not only that, but we are meant to be the avenue of the law, statutes, and commandments to our people. And through us following those law, statutes, and commandments, that example sets the precedent on how this earth should be ruled. You understand? When our King Yahushua returns, there isn't going to be no choice. You don't get to be in the LGBT community. You don't get to abort your children, no matter what nation you're in. You don't get to eat shrimp, crab, lobster, cats and dogs, and monkeys and bats and shit. It's Salakia. You don't get to do that. You know what I'm saying? When our king is here and we're back in rulership, you are going to follow these law, statutes, commandments as well. Now, doing that is not going to get you any place in our kingdom. You understand? You are not going to have any rank. You are always going to be at the bottom. You understand? You are always going to be our servants because that's what you were created for, which if you have any questions on that, type it in the chat and we'll break that down as well. Because you are meant to be our servants, you understand? And we are meant to be the rulers of this earth, a living example. Go ahead if you could. Continue.
Kanarawankan. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
So people want to ask, you know, so many times you hear in life, you know, why is this happening to me? Why am I suffering? Why am I poor? Why am I having these health issues? Why is my people being arrested? Why is these children being unalived and they're innocent victims. God, if there was a God, he wouldn't allow this to happen. Well, it's because there is a God that's happening. It's because there's a God that there is true justice. You understand? Because since we want to forget the laws that we're supposed to live by, because there is supposed to be standards of living. If not, we could just do whatever the hell we want. If the laws are done away with, like the Christian church likes to spout, and preach, then not only can you eat shrimp, crab, lobster, but you should also be able to eat a human being. What's happening with the Epstein files, right? They're talking about them consuming children. So that shouldn't be an issue. That shouldn't even be a controversy because the laws are done away with. So Christians should say, oh, that's okay. If that did happen, if there was an Epstein Island, so what? The laws are done away with. Everything is peaches and cream. Let's just keep on moving about our day. And that mindset is the reason why our communities are riddled with child molestation, sexual abuse, and all of these deviant activities. Go ahead. You got something?
Yeah, Khan. I just wanted to say with the Epstein files, it's so crazy because who was one of the best friends of Joe Epstein? Donald J. Trump. So if you think he wasn't in that, he was. Hillary Clinton was in that. It's not like Donald Trump was a perfectly good man. He's not. He's a deviant. The man has, I don't know how many felonies, and he got put into rulership. I guarantee you not one Black, Hispanic, or Native can get into rulership in this society. Want to know why? Because not only are we destroyed, but because these white oppressors want to keep us down. They don't want to see us at the top. And Obama and Martin Luther King, that dream that Martin Luther King had is a damn nightmare. Okay? Ain't shit we can do here. We don't belong here, man. And you ain't gonna have no sense of integrity or you can do whatever you want here. You can't. You can't get money. You can't do anything. Want to know why? Because the oppressor keeps us from doing that. He makes sure we're at low. Okay? They don't want us having a sense of morality or, surpassing them. Because as soon as we get that edge on them, boom, they're done. They can't even compete with us in any of the sports. So what makes you think they can compete with us in leadership? What makes you think they can compete with us in anything else under the sun? They can't. They really can't. And if you think they can, you are damn mistaken. I guarantee you are.
Damn right.
I yield.
Damn right. Heavy, man. Heavy, you know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is there's no such thing as equality. Get that out your goddamn head, man. There's no such thing as equality. And that's why the game has been rigged against so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. As Officer Nashwan was just bringing out, your president, you know what I'm saying, which unfortunately so many goddamn Latinos also voted for because, Stockholm syndrome, you just love your captor, you understand? And as a result, you hate your own people, you understand? And because of that, we're here at the bottom of the totem pole. As he said, the damn president got 34 goddamn felonies, and he's in the presidential seat, the highest ranking position throughout the whole nation. And, us as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you can't even have a misdemeanor on your background. You can't even owe child support. You understand? You owe some child support, man. They come in for your driver's license. They're going to garnish your wages. You understand? The woman, she has to kick you out of the house just to get some type of public assistance, government assistance. You understand? So everything is set up for us to be on the bottom. And obviously the game is rigged against us. Well, let me tell you how we overcome this rigged game. Let me tell you how we defeat our enemies. It's not through carnal warfare. It's not through picking up a weapon and going out and unaliving people. That'll never get us anywhere. But more attacks on our people. What's going to get us out of this position and back into rulership is us coming back to having a moral compass. Where does that moral compass come from? It comes from the Bible. It comes from the blueprint that's provided by the Most High God called the law, statutes, and commandments. Who is the one who is going to teach those law, statutes, and commandments? The only people that are qualified to teach the Bible is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? Underneath Commanding General Hana. You know, so as of now, if we're going to continue on this path of unaliving our brothers, you understand? Because why? It's easier to hate each other than to repair a relationship. Because you're such a goddamn coward that you can't go to he and he alone, which the scriptures tell you, and confront him righteously. Figure it out. Have a conversation as to why this brother did what he did, and make sure you express that you feel offended because of the matter. And that is in place. That is a law, you understand, and a commandment in place so you can repair the brotherhood, so we can come back together. Zephaniah 2:1 says, "O nation I desire, gather yourself together." Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are that nation I desire. We're the ones in hell right now. You understand? And for us to get back into rulership, we have to come back together in righteousness with moral compasses that are leading us. You understand? Is there anything else on that?
Let me check Salakia.
Go ahead and drop that, and let me get
The other scripture, sir.
John 8:44. Baba Kashab.
Kanada one kan. I got it, sir.
You know, so as long as we continue to make excuses and we continue to, you know, justify our actions as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're going to continue to be cursed by the Most High. It could be another 100 years, 200 years. It could be another 1,000 years before our King, Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, returns. And the reason why he's returning is so he can first emancipate us, free us from this captivity that we're in, and then secondly, to subjugate the ones who oppressed us, to gain rulership back of this world. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we come together and we start having a moral compass again. If we start following the law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead. You got that? Or you got something?
Yeah, kind of. I just wanted to say, with people out here doing what they want, smoking weed, sipping Percocet, and doing all those things, Yahushua is gonna come back, and if he does, he's gonna come back to a broken world. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, the ISUPK, that's where he's gonna have. He's gonna have us, but there's a very limited thing with us. You know, you can't just come in here and do what you want. You feel what I'm saying? We'll serve and support the Most High, right? But if you come in here and think you can do what you want, you are surely mistaken.
Damn right.
Okay. And I want to say, with all you people that think we're just too masculine or too just too scripturous, like too men of the Lord, you feel what I'm saying? That's what we're supposed to be. And all you people doing what you want out here, you think Yahushua is not going to punish you for that? He's going to punish you. And then you're going to be feeling all, oh, dang, what happened? What did I do? What did you do in your lifespan? You did what you want. And you think you can come back and serve the Most High? You're not worthy. You get punished first. Just like it says in the scriptures, if or in everyday life, if you have a kid or something, you're going to chastise that person, that child. Because if they do something wrong, you're going to teach them right from wrong. Now, Yahushua is going to come back and they're going to punish you. He's going to punish you for you doing your wrong. And he's going to teach you right, which are the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? With that, I yield.
Damn right. Damn right. You know, as the officer was bringing out, you're going to be held accountable by the men in the ISUPK, by the true priests and prophets of the Most High. Our job is to go out and teach our people where we have went wrong. You understand? To teach our people to stop, you know, trying to be like our oppressors. That's what got us in this condition that we're in the first place. And that's what we're going to bring out with this scripture right here. Go ahead, bring that out for me if you got it.
Khan out of one Khan. This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
Ye are of your father, the devil. Hold on, Slock it. One moment. Let me get there with you. John 8:44. Go ahead, read that from the top.
Khan Adawan Khan, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil.
So when they're talking about the devil, you understand, devil just means deceiver. You understand? And who the Bible identifies the greatest deceiver on the planet Earth is the white man, our oppressors. You understand? So when they say ye are of your father, the devil, well, what does a father mean? If you're of your father, that means you represent your father. That means you, do the things that he does. You know what I'm saying? What you say, what you do, it represents a mirror image of your father. You understand? So when they say you are of the father, your devil, that means you take after your father, the white man. Go ahead, continue.
Khan Adawan Khan, and the lust of your father ye will do.
You understand? The lust of your father you would do, man. You know, everything that's wicked under the sun is of that devil. You understand? Everything, I mean, just look at the earth, man. Just look at the earth, kill, steal, and destroy. Grape, rob, and pillage. Every place and land that this damn savage and beast encounters, it's the same story since the beginning of time, man. Since Roman, the time of Rome, down to Donald Trump, it's the same goddamn thing, rinse and repeat. The scriptures say there's nothing new under the sun, man. So this devil has always been the devil, and unfortunately what happens is our people get, corrupted by that. They start to see the what they define as advantages of being wicked. You understand? Corrupt dealings that, catapult these people into, higher statuses in the world when it comes to finances, economically, ruling lands and conquering people. It's being done in such a wicked manner. And for some reason, what's that saying? If you can't beat them, join them. That's what our people do, man. We get defeated by these people, and then we want to join them. Then we want to assimilate to all of the tactics and to the cultures and to the mindset and beliefs that these goddamn oppressors have over us. And we don't get to do that, man. As Israelites, as children of God, we are held to a higher standard. These laws are not for anyone else but Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So if you're another nation, then you can go out and be an LGBTQ member, man. You know what I'm saying? You can go out and be the biggest goddamn drug abuser on the planet Earth. You could spend every day high out of your goddamn mind. It does not matter because these law, statutes, and commandments ain't for you. So go ahead, live it up, enjoy it. But once Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans come back into the knowledge of the law, statutes, and commandments, and we start to be examples of the priestly, behavior that we're supposed to attribute, and represent, then we're going to show you exactly what it means to be true rulers of the earth, righteous men of God. You understand? Go ahead, continue with that.
Khan Adawan Khan. He was a, can I say that? Salaki?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Just say unaliver.
Khan Adawan Khan. He was a unaliver from the beginning and abode not in the truth.
So,
because, Salaki.
Nah, you good. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's starting off by saying you're taking on the spirit of your oppressor, who's the white man. It's going into talking about us following the customs and behavior of white culture, the drug abuse, the violence, the sexual deviancy, the corruption, the immorality. And now it's talking about he being an unaliver from the beginning. We're talking about, scripturally, we're talking about from the time of Cain and Abel, when Cain killed his brother Abel because he was jealous, right? He was jealous of Abel's favor from the Lord. And that's the same thing that's happening in modern times. These other nations are jealous of the, preferential treatment that Israelites get because we're a chosen people. So what are they going to do? They're going to do everything in their power to try to keep us down and sabotage us. You know what I'm saying? To rig the game against us so then we could then be destroyed. You understand? And that's what we've been falling for, man. We've been falling for these tactics when all it takes is for us to go back to our morality. You understand? You know, go ahead, continue with that.
Another one, Khan. Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it.
When he speaketh of a lie, he speaketh of his own. His nature is a lying nature. His nature is being deceitful and deceptive. You understand? I mean, I could give you a million goddamn examples on how this devil lies to us. For example, you know, in school, what do they teach you about Thanksgiving? That the natives and the pilgrims came together and they had a big feast together, right? Well, that can't be farther from the truth, man. Those goddamn pilgrims committed genocide on the Native Americans. They used biological warfare to having a military advantage over these people. They didn't fight the Native Americans head up, man. They wiped out 85% of their goddamn population through smallpox. You understand? Through putting smallpox on blankets, and that's what killed us because we couldn't handle these goddamn disgusting diseases that these savages carried on to our people. What's another lie they tell? They tell the lie of Christmas. This jolly old fat white man sneaking into people's chimneys, you know, in the middle of winter, passing out gifts. I mean, just diabolical lies, man. The Easter bunny, you know, how the hell does a rabbit lay eggs? You understand? The biggest lie that they tell is that Christ is a white man. That can't be farther from the truth. First of all, Jerusalem is in the modern day Middle East, right? Geography. How the hell there is no white people over there? Simple as that. White people come from, you know, somewhere in modern day Russia and the Caucasus Mountains. You understand? Like, you people can't even be in the sun for too long without getting burnt to a crisp with blisters. You know what I'm saying? So what makes you think you are the original people of the Bible? First of all, and Yahushua, as the scriptures say, is a black man. He's our king, and he's a nigga. You understand? Simple as that. As the scriptures say, hair like wool, skin like burnt bronze. You can't confuse it, man. You know what I'm saying? But in modern times, in today's day, you know, they teach us that, oh, his color doesn't matter, that true believers know what he looks like. Well, why do you have this blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil on the back of your damn churches and in every one of your grandmother's kitchens, and you're praising this damn white man? I'll tell you why. Because it's called white supremacy. It's called, you know, propaganda. You understand? Is that all on that?
Kind of one, con.
All right, let me get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 15, Baba Kasha. You know, we're gonna give you some scriptures on why our people are so destroyed, why our people are so, you know, destitute right now. You understand? And you know, living in this condition that we're in. You understand? There's a reason for it, man. There's a reason for it. And yes, we are always going to identify our enemies and point out the crimes that have been committed against us. But before we do that, we got to learn how to take some accountability. That's what we're going to do in the ISUBK, man. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to help you destroy that old man, that sinful man, and we're going to help you conquer your flesh. We're going to help you have discipline and self-control and morality and stop being so goddamn selfish. You understand? We're going to give you a reason to want to fight for your own morality and righteousness. And it's not just for yourself. It's for the salvation of your whole nation, man. And so your people, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, can stop being on the bottom of the totem pole, the first fired and the last hired, mass incarcerated, mass abortions. You know what I'm saying? Our women being SA'd, you understand? And you know, kidnapped. You know, how many of our indigenous sisters have gone missing on these reservations, man? You know what I'm saying? You got that for me?
Another one, Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28.
Let me get there with you, Baba Kasha. All right.
Kanara one Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken. Hearken means to listen closely. So if thou wilt not listen close unto the voice of the Lord thy God, continue.
Kanara one Khan. To observe, to do all his commandments.
To do
and
what?
To do all his commandments and his statutes.
To observe, Salakia, to observe and to do all his commandments. When he says to observe, this means this is what you should be watching. This is what should be portrayed as an example from your people, so then you could observe it, which means it should be a part of our culture. If you're observing something, this is something that's constantly occurring, right? So to observe and to do. So now that you learn the information, now that you have the knowledge, now that you have the culture and the customs and your identity back, it's up to us to do. What does it say?
To do all his commandments.
All his commandments. Just some of them.
All his commandments.
Just the 10 commandments.
All his commandments.
All his commandments, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you are raised as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to believe that there's just 10 commandments. First of all, that's a hypocritical as hell, because either it's done away with or there's these 10 commandments, right? You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is there's way more than 10 commandments. There's more than 600 plus commandments, statutes, and laws in the damn Bible, man. You understand? We have merchant laws. We have dietary laws, all different type of laws. You understand? And it says we must follow all the laws, not just what we choose to follow, not just your Christian pastor and your Catholic priest and your Muslim imam telling you to pay goddamn tithes, right? They'll tell you to pay tithes. They'll make sure that collection plate goes around about 4 or 5 times, right? And they want some donations and all of that stuff. But I thought the laws were done away with. So which one is it, man? You know what I'm saying? We must choose to follow every law, the dietary laws, the marriage laws, brotherhood laws, because it's a law to be a brother. You know what I'm saying? Cleanliness laws, right? Merchant laws. All these different type of laws are meant for us to constitute the operations that it takes to build up your nation and for everyday running of this nation. You understand? Go ahead, continue.
Kanara one Khan. And his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Which I command thee this day. This is not an option. He didn't give you an option to pick and choose which ones are good for you, which ones are not, which ones are hard, which ones are easy. First of all, following the law, statute, commandments should not be done in vain. It should not be done with a burdensome countenance. This isn't hard. It's not hard to stop eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. It's not hard to stop being a sexual deviant. It's not hard to stop wanting to unalive your brothers once you come into the understanding of who you really are and who your brothers actually are. When it says to love thy neighbor, it's not talking about the Chinese man or the white man that lives next to you. It's not talking about the East Indian or the Asian man that owns the goddamn nail supply store and the goddamn gas station on the corner, man. It's not talking about them. It's talking about the people who are in persecution with you, who are who live amongst you, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you're from the goddamn ghettos or the barrios in America, you understand that we are the same people, man. When you go outside and you get on public transportation on any of the buses, who do you see? You see Blacks and Hispanics. When you go into the public aid offices, who do you see in that line next to you? Blacks and Hispanics. When you're inside of the prisons and in these institutions, who do you see? Blacks and Hispanics. You understand? When you're at the goddamn food pantry, Who do you see? Blacks and Hispanics. Those are your neighbors, man. Those are the people that are being persecuted right alongside of you. Those are the people that have been suffering just as you suffer for over 600 years. That is the most recent history of the Israelites, the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We've been suffering together. And since the beginning of this goddamn nation, since 1492, when Christopher Columbus sailed the wide ocean blue, as they might say, we've been being persecuted together. Don't forget, indigenous Americans were the first to be enslaved. They were first to be shipped over to Europe in slavery, to Spain, to the Caribbeans, to different islands. And then came our so-called African American, our black brothers and sisters, to be persecuted right alongside of us. And from the beginning of the time, we knew we were one people. We would help each other, man. You know what I'm saying? So-called black slaves will be able to escape into Native American communities and become free. And these Native Americans would fight for them. And blacks would fight for Native Americans. And that was the way of our people, man. But we've been tricked. We've been tricked because we wanted to save ourselves. We wanted to be selfish. And we wanted to be cowards. So what do? We choose to trade on our own people. We choose to, put the safety and the prosperity of our own individual groups above our entire people, above the greater nation that was at stake. And because of it, we're utterly destroyed, man. Because of it, we're in captivity almost 600 years later, man. You know what I'm saying? So until we start to come back together and realize that we are the only allies we're going to get, we are going to constantly be divided and conquered and picked apart by these people, man. Is that everything on that? You know, these goddamn white people, man, have been doing this since the beginning of time, man. And it's only going to continue to increase. It's only going to get worse. And until we start to wake up and come back to our true identity and come back to our true customs and culture. Drop that. Let me get Salakia. Let me get Lamentations 4:17, Baba Kashat. You understand? We need to stop trying to assimilate to these societies. We need to stop being so goddamn beaten down and downtrodden and destroyed, so much so that we're willing to just accept this. Because that's what we've been doing. We've been accepting the destruction that we're in. We've been accepting the fact that we've been conquered. I mean, where do they do that at, man? You know what I'm saying? Every other nation in the world, whether they lost the war or at a certain time, you know, were captives of war, at the end of the day, you know, what happens? They end up fighting back or somehow gaining their freedom again. And from that point on, they remember who the hell persecuted them, who oppressed them, who was their enemy, who defeated them in battle. They remember these things. But for some reason in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities, we choose not to acknowledge that, man. We choose to say, you know what? No, it's okay. We still love America. We still want to be Americans. We still want to partake in the American dream. We want to pay taxes. We want to go to their militaries. We want to be on their police force. We want to be on their immigration customs enforcement, right? We want to still build this nation up while we're constantly and utterly destroyed. Who the hell does that, man? Stop being cowards, man. Stop being selfish. Stop worrying about just the safety of you and your own individual family and the people that you care about. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say for a man to die for his friend, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, is the greatest love. You understand? Be willing to die for your dignity. Be willing to die for the freedom of your people. Be willing to put your freedom online for what's righteous. And that's upholding the standards and the goddamn position, the rightful position of our people, which is royalty, man, which is leadership. You got that for me?
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 17. The Lord hath done that which he had devised.
Hold on, wait. That's 4 and 17, Lamentation?
Oh, Salakia. Okay. Khan Adawan Khan. This is the book
Hold
of
on. Let me
Lamentations.
get there with you. Go ahead.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
As for us, as for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the true Israelites, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. So that means we're constantly looking, man. We're scanning the horizon, looking to be saved, looking to be emancipated and freed from this condition that we're in, from the captivity that we're in. But it's failed. Our eyes have failed for our vain help. Vain help means it's nothing. It has no value. It's purposeless. You understand? It's not going to happen. We are not going to be helped. Our eyes have failed. We're not going to get the help that we're looking for from the people that put us in captivity, man. We're not going to get freed by the same people that enslaved us. I know you have the Emancipation Proclamation, right, done by President Abraham Lincoln. That was a goddamn lie. He even said it himself. If he had a choice to not free the slaves, he wouldn't if it saved the nation. So that tells you right there it's not for you. You understand? Even in the Constitution, when they made the amendment to do away with slavery, it says, but if you go to jail. So slavery is done away with unless you are a criminal. And what happened as a result of that? Every goddamn law in this place has been, made for us. Been made to keep us captive and destroy us. You understand? So that's what we're dealing with, man. You understand? Keep on.
Khan Adawan Khan. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
So we're looking for America to save us. Even the Mexicans in Mexico, right? For almost 600 years, we've assimilated to Spanish culture, hoping to find some type of peace and equality. Not remembering that these people are our captors. These people, unalived our ancestors, committed genocide against our people, raped our women. You understand? But we have only been met with death and destruction from these people. But yet we keep looking for them. We keep, wanting to vote in their goddamn elections. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, you keep wanting to serve in their military and build this place up. And the reality of the matter is that we are going to fail. As long as we continue to look for these people to free us and save us, we are going to constantly fail. Our eyes have failed us. And we have watched for a nation that could not save us. They can't. They don't have the power to do that. There's only one that could save us. That's the Most High God. Is that everything on that?
Khan Adawan Khan.
Like I said, we tried to become obedient. We've been submissive slaves to this place, to these people. America, Spain, even in Mexico. That's not Mexican. That's not indigenous people running the country. You got a goddamn Jewish lady running the country, man. You know what I'm saying? You got these other nations that still influence the politics and the daily, operations of this land. It's not indigenous people that's running that place. What happened when there was an indigenous person running Mexico? He did away with slavery. He went to war with America to maintain, to keep black slaves, to give them their freedom. You understand? So that's what happens when one of us are in rulership, man. We're going to do what's right. We're going to build our people up. We're going to protect our people. We're going to provide for those that are our own. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you shouldn't be out here trying to do for other nations, man. Learn to do for yourself first. Learn to build up your people first. And the only way we're going to do that is with a moral compass. coming back to these law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? You got anything you want to bring out?
Sir.
All right, let's go to 2 Chronicles 7 and 14, Baba Kashan. We're gonna end with that. You know, our King Yahushua, man, he told us not to learn from these nations, man. The scriptures say, learn not the way of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be celebrating their holidays. We shouldn't be praying to their gods. We shouldn't be following their cultures, man. You know what I'm saying? These LGBTQ activities, that's heathen culture. Drug addiction and drug abuse, that's heathen culture. Unaliving innocent, that's heathen culture. Child molestation, corrupt business practices, stealing, lying, doing all types of wickedness, right? In the name of survival or whatever you want to use to justify it in your brain, you trying to provide for your family and you got to do what you got to do. It leads to death, man. And that's what the heathens do. They get to prosper doing that. They are the criminals. They are the goddamn gangbangers. Since Al Capone and the Italian mafia and the Irish mafia, they're the ones who started that, man. This isn't your culture. That doesn't belong to you. You got that?
Salakia, what was the 2 Chronicles what?
2 Chronicles 7 and 14.
Khan, I got it.
Go ahead, bring it out.
Khan. This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse
Salakia,
14.
let me get there with you. All right.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. If my people, which are called by my name.
If my people, which are called by my name. You understand? If I'm called by my Father's name, that means I belong to him. That means we basically represent the same thing, right? Everything he represents, I represent as well. Go ahead.
Khan. Salakia. Shall humble themselves and pray.
Start from the top, Baba Kashan.
Oh, Khan. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. If
my people shall humble myself, right? So if someone meets me, right, and they say, okay, that's so-and-so's son, or let's use my son as an example. This is my son in Ashwan. If someone meets my son, they say, that's Nataziyab's son. That's going to let them know, first, he's under my protection. Second, what I say and do, my son, he's an extension of that. He's going to represent that same, beliefs and culture and countenance, for lack of better words. You understand? And go ahead, continue.
Khan.
And it says, and shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face. You understand? Which is telling you, first and foremost, we got to stop being so goddamn arrogant, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta learn to accept correction. We gotta learn that love is correction. You know what I'm saying? When a brother is willing to correct you and hold you accountable, that means he cares about your prosperity. He cares about you and your development. You understand? When you correct a sister or you correct your rib, that means you're trying to guide them and teach them to live in a certain manner. You understand? You're not just allowing them to behave in any old way. You understand? And do anything that they want to do and be lawless. You're not allowing that. What you're doing is you're providing them structure, guidance, love. That's what love is. You understand? So we got to learn how to humble ourselves. We got to learn how to pray, man. The only way the Most High, and this is what the scriptures say, here's our prayers, is if we're being obedient to him. We're following those laws, statutes, and commandments. God does not love the sinner. He hates the sinner and the sin. And if you're a goddamn sinner, he doesn't hear your prayer. It says to seek his face, man. We got to be seeking after the Most High with everything that we do. Our walk, our talk, our whole demeanor has to be that in pursuit of the Most High. Continue.
Khan. And turn themselves, and turn from their wicked ways.
We got to stop
Then-
sinning. Go ahead.
Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land.
Again, we got to stop sinning, man. We got to turn from our wicked ways. We got to come back to the Most High. And when we do that, then will the Most High hear us from heaven, from his throne in heaven, in the fourth dimension. You understand? He's going to forgive us of our sin. He's going to heal our land. He's going to give us back rulership again. What parent, what good father doesn't want their child to do good and to be prosperous? Right? This is how we do that, man. This is how we become prosperous again. This is how we become a nation again. This is how we become rulers of this earth, man. This is how we stop our people from being victims again, from our women being abused and exploited and weaponized against us. This is how we maintain a healthy household. This is how we save our people, how we protect our people, coming back to those law, statutes, and commandments, gaining the protection of our God again. That is the only way we're going to come out of captivity, man. The only way. So if you love sin more than you love righteousness, we're going to continue to be destroyed. But if you love righteousness and you love the Most High, then you'll stop sinning. You'll stop being wicked. You'll stop being a detriment to your society and destructive to those around you. You'll stop contributing to the exploitation and to the, like I said, the destruction of your people, man. You got anything you want to bring out?
No, sir.
With that being said, this is the ISUPK Mexico. Today is our scripture breakdown class. I'm Officer Natazayab Ahmad. We're here with Officer 50, Anashwan, and that's our time. Israel Shalom.
Shalom.